From relative unknowns struggling to make their mark, to superstars adored around the world, a shocking number of K-pop stars have passed away before they've reached the age of 30. The death of SHINee member Jonghyun sent an enormous shockwave through the K-pop industry. The Guardian wrote, "With their earnest, keeningly romantic songs paired with immaculate choreography, SHINee marked the apotheosis of their country's boy band craft." As 2018 approached, it looked like SHINee was about to become one of the very few K-pop groups to make it a decade in the boy band business. But the stress of the industry and the pressures of fame became too much for the 27-year-old Jonghyun. According to CNN, on December 18, 2017, he sent his sister a concerning text asking her to let him go and to tell him that he did well. She contacted the police, and when they arrived at Jonghyun's apartment, they found him unconscious. He was rushed to the hospital but declared dead later that night.
Devastated fans filled up the lobby of Asan Medical Center where the wake was held to pay their respects.
According to the Washington Post, it later emerged that 2 weeks before his death, Jonghyun sent a friend a 47-line text that was effectively a suicide note. It referenced his inability to overcome his depression and self-loathing, with Jonghyun asking that it be released if he were to, quote, disappear from the world. Wanted was an up-and-coming K-pop boy band with one album under its belt when they were involved in a serious car accident at 3 a.m. on March 11, 2004. According to Dong A, the band's manager crashed their car into a 5-ton truck and collided with the guardrail, injuring 3 of the band members, while the fourth, 22-year-old Seo Jae-Ho, died in the collision. In the aftermath of the accident, the remaining band members took a 3-year hiatus, though they would eventually release 2 more albums before ultimately disbanding. Car accidents are such a problem in K-pop that their usual cause has a name: manager driving. According to the Chosun Ilbo, the schedules for entertainers in South Korea, especially K-pop singers, are so crazy that it can be virtually impossible to get everywhere on time, unless you drive like a maniac. They may visit multiple out-of-the-way locations in a day, while not planning adequate travel time to get to each event. But being late and throwing off everyone else's schedules isn't an option, so aggression and speed on the road is considered normal. Managers chauffeur their bands around in cars with alarms warning where speed cameras are, but it's still common to get dozens of tickets each month. The citations are written off as legitimate costs. The crash which killed Seo was put down to excessive schedules and his manager driving while tired. Tany, real name Kim Soo, was a solo K-pop star who rose to fame in 2016 when he released the song Always Remember. According to The Independent, it was a tribute for the 306 victims of the 2014 Sewol-ho ferry disaster, the most of whom were students of Danwon High School.
When students return, the focus will be on helping the students cope with the traumatic events of the past several days.
Unfortunately, Tany would also die tragically young, at just 22. According to Korea Portal, after going home to see his parents to deal with personal issues, Tany was driving himself and another passenger at 2:30 a.m. on April 14, 2018. Their car collided with the structure, caught on fire, and was completely destroyed. Tany's passenger also died. Tany was still considered a rookie artist who hadn't officially broken onto the K-pop scene. His debut album was set to drop in the second half of 2018 before his untimely death shelved the release. But there was still a huge outpouring of sadness at his death on Twitter. One user wrote, "It's a sad morning today. We have lost another talented idol at such a young age." Others talked about how his music made them feel happy and comforted. Like many countries, South Korea loves talent shows on television. One talent competition saw 7 hopeful singers vie for a place in the well-known girl group Goo Hara after 2 members left in 2014. According to Billboard, Ahn So Jin made it into the top 4 competitors but didn't get into the group. This didn't mean all hope was lost, as K-pop stars go through years of boot camp before they debut. So Jin had been signed as a trainee to a major label for years when she appeared on the show. In 2015, she was announced as a member of the new girl group April that would start releasing music later in the year. But according to All K-pop, something went wrong. After years of dedication, Sojin was quietly dropped from the group as well as her agency contract. Sources claim that she became depressed, and a month after being let go, Sojin jumped from the 10th floor of her apartment building. She was rushed to the hospital but didn't make it. She was 22. Her 2015 suicide brought how the K-pop industry treats their stars and wannabes back to the surface. According to K-pop stars, insiders explain that trainees struggle to survive, get paid virtually nothing, are socially isolated, and give up their education while competing viciously with other trainees to get in groups. But ultimately, even with Sojin's suicide, the vicious cycle continues to this day. The girl band Ladies Code was formed in 2013, and released many successful singles before finally debuting their first full album in 2014.
You guys are really wonderful. Wonderful!
That same year, according to Billboard, after filming a television appearance, their driver was speeding along a wet road trying to make the next event on their tight schedule. The back wheel suddenly flew off and the van crashed into a guardrail. The driver and 2 of the band members suffered injuries, with one fracturing her jaw, but it would be worse for the other 2. Band member Eunb, real name Eunb, was pronounced dead at the scene. She was 22. Band member Rise, real name Kwon Rise, was rushed to the hospital where she underwent 10 hours of emergency brain surgery. But Core reported that Rise never regained consciousness, dying 4 days later, with her parents and management around her. She was 23 years old. Fans took to social media to express their shock and sadness, with hashtag RIP Eunb being a top trending topic on Twitter worldwide. Her funeral was held just 2 days after the collision, and hundreds of people attended. In 2017, 2 of her surviving bandmates posted old pictures of themselves with Eunb on Instagram and wished her a happy birthday. Rise was known as the mother of the group because of her caring and protective nature. According to New Paper, she had decided to follow her dreams of stardom after her father died when she was young. She'd already been a model, a contestant on Miss Korea, and a finalist on a reality show when she joined Ladies Code. The only time she saw controversy was when it was reported she'd performed for North Korean dictator Kim Jong-il when she was in elementary school. Police questioned the road manager who was driving the van and looked into why the airbags didn't deploy. Unfortunately, the accident wasn't caught on CCTV, but they did collect footage from a camera inside the vehicle. The record label stood by the driver, saying he was an experienced road manager who hadn't experienced any accidents. Monday Kids debuted as a duo in 2005, with members Min Soo and Lee Jin-sung taking their name from the day they would typically meet up and train together. The pair released a hit single and 2 successful albums, quickly gaining popularity. However, this all came to a temporary halt when Min Soo, who loved his motorcycle, was involved in a terrible accident. In September 2007, Min Soo was flung from his motorcycle after being hit by a car, injuring his shoulder and leg. It took him 4 months to recuperate in the hospital, and he promised his management that he would never ride a motorcycle again. So it was a shock to everyone when just a few months after he recovered, Min Soo was involved in another accident, this time fatal. At 6:20 a.m. on April 29, 2008, Min Soo crashed his motorcycle into a tree. While his friend, who had been riding on the back of the bike, eventually pulled through, Min Soo was pronounced dead after emergency treatment failed. He was only 23 years old. With the blessing of Min Soo's parents, Lee Jin-sung released their already finished album 5 months after Min Soo's death. In 2010, new members were added to Monday Kids, and they dedicated one of their songs to Min Soo. A-Style was a 6-member boy band that debuted in 2008, released 1 album, and disbanded the following year. But people were still shocked in October 2011 when former member In Kyu announced that he had thymus cancer. According to Asia 24/7, he published a message to his fans claiming he had been experiencing chest pains for 6 months. Once it became difficult to breathe, he finally sought medical treatment and was given the diagnosis. Surgery was ruled out, so he underwent chemotherapy. And despite being told not to by his doctors, he kept on singing. Despite the aggressive treatment, the cancer spread. According to Soonpi, former A-Style member Park Jun-jin announced that In Kyu had died on February 22, 2013. He was 24. Despite In Kyu's short time in the industry, he'd made many friends, with all K-pop reporting that many artists took to social media to share their shock and speak about what an amazing person he'd been. According to Chosun Ilbo, Yoon, born as Lee Ha-leun, had a difficult childhood. She was raised mostly by her grandmother, and her father wasn't in the picture. She went on to be a successful actress in South Korea starting in the 1990s, and released her debut album as a singer in 2003. Her second album, released in 2005, was an even bigger hit. She had finished her 3rd full-length album when she died in 2007. Yoon had been reportedly struggling with depression, with friends telling the police that while she hid her stress from her family, the constant online criticism and attacks she had sustained had gotten to her. In January 2007, Yoon's grandmother came home from church to find that she had hung herself. She was 25. While she didn't leave a note, she had written a concerning post on her website sometime before her death, claiming, "I feel everything is empty. I am again walking down a path to reach a destination that I don't know." Within an hour of her death being announced, fans left almost 3,000 condolences on her website. According to Soonpi, Rottyful Sky, born Kim Ha-neul, debuted as a K-pop singer at the age of 14. She started out as a solo artist and over the years was rumored to join different K-pop groups, but the rumors never went anywhere. So in 2010, she went back to solo work and songwriting, along with some acting. But in 2012, Rottyful Sky was diagnosed with a brain tumor, dropping everything to get treatment. In October 2013, she was admitted to the hospital and ultimately declared brain dead, dying shortly after. She was 25. Idol Wow reported that Rottyful Sky had been writing songs up until her death, with at least one other K-pop artist releasing a song penned by her after she passed away. According to the BBC, one music critic said of Cha Jin-lee, better known to the K-pop world as Sulli, she laughed when she wanted to laugh and cried when she wanted to cry. She brazenly spoke out. She didn't fit the mold. In 2005, Sulli broke into the entertainment business at the age of 11 and would join the influential girl group FX in 2009. FX became immensely popular thanks to songs that crossed genres and twisted conventions, with K-pop writer Joshua Calixto describing them as arguably one of the most musically innovative groups that K-pop has ever seen. Sulli would stand out even more for breaking social norms. After departing FX in 2015 to pursue acting, Sulli relaunched her singing career as a solo artist in 2018, while also acting as one of the hosts of the variety television series The Night of Hate Comments. She publicly addressed traditionally taboo topics such as mental illness. She was also in a relationship at the peak of her career, which, according to The Guardian, challenged the industry's carefully crafted image of young female stars as sexually desirable but inexperienced. Her unconventionality infuriated numerous male K-pop fans who bullied her online. According to authorities, this harassment led Sulli to become severely depressed.
At the site, a handwritten memo showing Sulli's feelings has been found. The police are saying it is not a will.
Sulli was 25 years old at the time of her death in 2019, with many suspecting suicide. According to the BBC, Cha In-ha was not originally known as a singer in South Korea, finding fame as part of a 5-piece acting troupe called Surprise You. His debut came in 2017, and he went on to star in numerous TV shows. But it isn't uncommon for young, attractive actors to get roped into the K-pop game by their management agencies, and Surprise You released their one and only EP in 2017. On December 3, 2019, Cha In-ha's body was found in his home. He was 27. The cause of death was never released, and in a statement from his entertainment agency, which included that the funeral would be a private affair, they asked that people refrain from spreading rumors or releasing speculative reports. Thanks to changes to Instagram in 2020, accounts of those who've passed away can be memorialized instead of deleted. Cha In-ha's account was one of the first to mark this changeover. Goo Hara joined the girl group Kara in 2008, with the BBC claiming they were one of the first K-pop acts to find success internationally. She went on to release music as a solo artist and appear on TV. However, in 2018, she sued her ex-boyfriend, who had filmed her having sex with him without her knowledge and was threatening to release the footage online. The act is so common in South Korea, it has a name: molka. According to The Guardian, there have been numerous calls to the government to do something about this sort of crime. In May 2019, Hara's manager found her unconscious at her home after an apparent suicide attempt. Hara lived and was made to apologize to her fans for causing concerns and a commotion. She went back to work, releasing another single and touring Japan. In November of the same year, Hara died from a second attempt at suicide. She was 28.
2 days earlier, in her last post on Instagram, the singer wrote the Korean words for good night.
The Straits Times reported that after Hara's death, her mother came forward looking for the 50% of her daughter's estate that she claimed she was entitled to, according to South Korean law. But due to her abandoning Hara and her brother when they were children, Hara's brother asked the government for the inheritance laws to be changed. Subsequently, the Goo Hara Act was passed in 2021. According to The Wrap, Yohan, real name Kim Chung-hwan, started in 2013 as an idol with the group NOM, which is an acronym for No Other Man. Per the New York Daily News, when NOM disbanded in 2016, he joined the 5-piece group Top Secret the following year. While changing their name to TST, they released 2 EPs that made it onto the top 30 in South Korea. However, the group saw drama in 2018 when member Lee Kyung-ha was convicted of sexual assault, which was committed when he and the victim were both 16 years old. After Kyung-ha was ousted from TST, their latest single, Countdown, was released in January 2020, with Yohan's career seeming to be going strong when he tragically died. His death in 2020 was confirmed by his entertainment agency, who released a statement to The Guardian saying, "We are sad to relay the most unfortunate, sorrowful news. On June 16th, TST member Yohan left this world. The late Yohan's family is currently in deep mourning." At the time of this video, his cause of death has not been announced. But whatever the reason, it was a compounding tragedy in the K-pop scene. as he was the fourth young idol to die within 8 months. Yohan was 28. On October 29, 2022, young people in Seoul, South Korea gathered in the Itaewon neighborhood to celebrate Halloween, one of the first big parties held since the country had finally loosened COVID-19 restrictions around large congregations. But according to USA Today, the night turned from joyful to tragic when a stampede caused a crowd crush that killed over 150 people and injured just as many.
Today, families rushed to community centers anxious for news about their loved ones.
One of the casualties was the up-and-coming K-pop singer and actor Lee Ji-han. He was 24. Entertainment Tonight reported that Lee originally came to the public's attention in 2017 on the second season of the South Korean singing competition Produce 101. While he was eliminated before making it into the K-pop group that was formed from the show's 11 finalists, Jihan was popular and talented enough that he continued his career and landed acting jobs. At the time of his death, Lee was signed with talent agency 935 Entertainment, who released a statement saying, "We are sad to deliver such news today, but Lee Ji-han has passed away in the crush of Itaewon. We would like to express our deepest condolences to his family." Moonbin was a member of the K-pop group Astro and performed as part of the duo Moonbin and Sana. So in April 2023, it was a complete shock to fans when the band's label, Fantagio, released a statement on Twitter. On April 19th, Astro member Moonbin suddenly left us and became a star in the sky. Moonbin's fans were distraught, posting messages on Twitter about the memories of the artist, sharing their grief, and expressing their condolences for his younger sister, Min Soo, herself a member of popular girl group Billy. The artist was 25 years old. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255.